Well, we're going to bring Jarmo in here and talk to him about his big day.
He looks well rested.
There you go. That is for you. It's first of all, thanks for taking time with us here and make a couple of deals. We've just talked about them. The fact that you were able to find guys that bring experience, not just NHL experience, but NHL playoff experience in here. And how happy are you with what you were able to do today?
We're happy. We accomplished what we tried to accomplish. Get some depth on both defense and on the forward side. I know Larry Korpikoski very well. He played on the World Cup team for Finland. John Tortorella knows him. He's a player that can play on the left side or right side, has speed to play the game the way it's played these days. He's having a good year, 20 points with Dallas this year, 8 goals, 12 assists, and penalty killer. So he can play up and down the lineup, left side, right side. And Kyle Quincy's an experienced defenseman who's had a really good year with New Jersey, playing 19 minutes a game, and brings us a guy that has 54 games, I believe, of playoff experience with size and skating ability, and gives us more depth. So we're happy.
Can you talk about the two defensemen you gave up? Hetherington, we haven't seen, I don't think at all, maybe a little bit. And then Dalton Prout, good soldier here for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah, great guy. And I think he just needs a fresh start. It hasn't been, this season hasn't gone exactly the way he had planned or we had planned. And he's been a healthy scratch a lot. He's an extremely hard-working player, great character guy. I wish him nothing but the best. I have the utmost respect for how he handled himself as a professional all the way through these difficult times that he had with our team. And obviously we play New Jersey a few times here in the near future, so hopefully he doesn't come back to bite us very soon. But I wish him nothing but the best. He truly is and was a great teammate with our team and is a good person, and we'll miss him that way. But we'll welcome Kyle Quincy here, and I think he'll be a big part of our run here this spring.
Everybody talks about trade deadline day, but it's not like you woke up early this morning and then just went to work on this. I mean, this is a process, right?
That's exactly how it was.
Oh, that's how it worked? Great job.
No.
But
no, the part that when you said woke up early and got to work, that part, no. This is what we do all year. We evaluate our team. We watch practice. We watch the games. We watch games of the other teams in the league. We have a scouting staff in place. They do hundreds and hundreds and thousands of reports on players. So we have the catalog, as Billy Zito likes to call it, a book on all the players. We look at our team. What could we change? What could we could improve? Every day we talk about these things. Here we just have that deadline. It came today at 3:00 p.m. and we have to operate with that, knowing that after that we can't make any moves to have the player play in the playoffs. So it's basically the same as what we do every day, except that now there's a deadline, and the deadline is passed now, so we're done until the off season for any player that wants to play for us in the playoffs.
Was it a quieter day than you expected?
Yeah, but the whole year is quiet just because of the cap era. I think that's we had a stat I think it was about a month ago that we had 9 trades all year and 0 players involving $3 million. That just goes to show you that most of the teams that are up against the cap to do a trade, you don't only need to find a player for player that you like, a hockey trade like we like to call it, but also a trade that fits in your salary cap. So it has to be dollar out, dollar in type of thing before you can make it happen. So it makes things a lot harder.
How much did the expansion draft this year also affect what goes on in the way of trading? Because, in a couple of months or weeks or whatever, you're going to have to put together a list of how many you want to protect or who you want to protect on that list. And how much did that factor into what you're trying to do this year in particular?
A lot. Obviously, and I've said this many times, so I'm repeating myself, but any trade that we were to make, you have to add to the cost of the trade what you possibly could lose more in the expansion draft. So if you bring in a forward, we have to protect or leave another forward unprotected. So you basically have to count that as cost of the trade. So, I'm not going to start naming players here and what we're thinking, but it's pretty obvious that if you add another forward, for example, then you'd have to leave another forward exposed, and that could cost you. that forward, and that's the price. And I'm sure every team had to think of it the same way, especially the teams that had the protection problem, as we call it. This is bad timing. If we had this expansion draft a year ago, we wouldn't have had any problems in protecting, because most of the guys would have been exempt. Guys like Alex Wenberg, Korpisalo, all those guys would have been exempt from because of their experience level. But now, a year later, it's a different story. Just bad timing.
But is it kind of good timing though too, because you've got a good team here, and you don't have teams that can load up in your division, or maybe do things that they're going to be they're restricted to today.
Yeah, I like I said, the rentals made more sense than in normal situations. Maybe that's why there was pretty steep prices paid for some of the rentals, because you don't then have to worry about the protection, because they're going to just walk into the unrestricted free agency in the summertime. So maybe that explains some of the trades too.
What about having Bjorkstrand come in this last recall and playing in that top 6 role? How much is that? It's almost better than a trade in some ways, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's what we've talked about. That's our trade deadline acquisition is Oliver Bjorkstrand coming onto the team. We expected him to make the team off the training camp. He didn't. He wasn't quite ready. He went down and worked on his game, and now he's back and he's played well for us. We believe in this group. This group has won enough games to be third in the National Hockey League in the standings right now, and in playoff position. We believe in these guys. We believe that our window is just opening, so we're not going to go out in the market and mortgage our future to try to make our chances better just this spring and make them worse into the future. So these deals we felt made sense for us to strengthen our depth, get our team better, but we believe in the team that's in the room that got us here.
Is it even more important that they believe in themselves? Because we were talking earlier about the fact that you could just sense they didn't want any kind of change. They think they have what they need. They think they have what it takes, and they have that belief there too. So you believe in them. That's great. They've got to believe too, and it seems like they have that.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about earning respect around the league. But when you're at 40 wins, you're going to earn respect around the league. But you got to keep earning it every day. So that's the main thing we've talked about. Let's get better every day. Let's focus on every day. What can we do to get better? That's our focus from now on in too. But we have earned some respect here, but we got to keep earning it. But that's the group that got us to 40 wins and 84 points, and they're going to keep getting us wins, and they're going to. That's what we're building our success on. That group right there.
You talk about depth. How happy are you with the guys in Cleveland? Maybe the guys in Europe? Is there players that in this next few years, few months, maybe some more names that we'll know, we'll hear about and maybe see on this team?
Yeah, I think so. We just went to see Vladislav Gavrikov in the KHL, for example. He's our 5th-round pick, a defenseman that has played now 2 solid years in the KHL, but also played on the Russian national team. He's a big man, 6'3", 220-pound defenseman, and he's a man already. He's not very old, but he's a man, and I think he wants to play in the NHL, and he's a good prospect for us. Kevin Stenlund is a 6'4" centerman, can play center and wing, playing for HV71 in the Swedish Elite League. I've gone to see him a couple times. He's having a great year in the Swedish League. He's another guy that we have in high regard for our prospects. Gabriel Carlson, we've talked about him many times. He's our 1st-round pick a couple of years ago, and he's having another solid year with the Linköping in the Swedish Elite League and 2 World Juniors under his belt. Just needs to get stronger. So we have a lot of good prospects. I just saw Pierre-Luc Dubois in Quebec League, was a man amongst boys in that game. Was doing great after his trade, and Vitaly Abramov is having an unbelievable year in the same league. I think he's 2nd in the league in scoring, and he's got almost 50 goals now and 100 points. So he's doing awesome. So we have a lot of good young prospects in our depth chart, and that allowed us to do the trade for Korpikoski, and we're still in good shape.
Yeah, we were just in Montreal yesterday, and there was a reporter who reports on the Quebec League, and he wanted to know everything, and he was buzzing about those 2 guys, Abramov and Dubois.
Yeah.
He said they've totally changed in the last couple months.
Yeah, I actually saw them play against each other, and
you did?
Dubois' team won, but it was a treat. They're good prospects.
Yeah, we missed you in New York and Montreal. So now that you're done with this deadline, does that mean you'll be around more often?
We'll see. Next week I have the GM meetings down in Florida, so unfortunately I can't join you on the
That's
road.
really tough. Well, that's a tough job. But you did a great job today. Thanks
Thank
for coming in with us, and congratulations on what you were able to do here.
Thank you.
All right, Jarmo Kekalainen,
Thanks, Jarmo.
Blue Jackets general manager, joining us here today on this trade deadline show. Blue Jackets making those two moves, defenseman Kyle Quincy and forward Lori Korpikoski.